Yes, people, and welcome to the 620 podcast. Obviously, with your host, your favorite gooner, a man like Matt. What are you telling me?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What are you saying?
I'm calm, chilling, man. Obviously, people, we weren't here for Monday session. Apologies. So obviously, we're gonna try and discuss briefly last weekend's results in the Premier League, and obviously the results that happened in the Europa League and Champions League and whatnot. But first, as usual, we'll start off with our predictions that we made on Friday, I believe. Yeah, last Friday with the matches on the weekend. So, what you feeling confident? Yeah.
I don't think either of us did pretty well, to be
No, no,
fair.
no, 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 no. Don't worry about me, bro.
But I
You
think I,
feeling confident?
I think I edged you this weekend, though. I think.
We'll see about that, my guy. We'll see about that. So obviously, I'm can't lie. I'm gonna have to bang up the fixtures, car. I ain't remembering that. What is it? The 20. It was 29th. That was there we go. There we go. All right, cool. So first game, City Leicester. Um, you said 3-1 Leicester. Obviously, Leicester. I mean, you said 3-1 City.
3-1 City, yeah.
City won 1-0. So you got the point just about. I said 1-1. If it wasn't for that De Bruyne free kick, I would have clutched that. That's one
Probably.
point to you. Liverpool.
No one saw that coming.
Liverpool losing to Leeds. Obviously, I said 3-0 Liverpool. You said 3-1. Was both wrong. But yeah, you're right. No one saw that coming. We'll talk about that in a sec. Actually, that's probably the biggest shocker, especially because obviously Liverpool are at home and that. So that's probably the biggest one to talk about. I'll be real. Arsenal Forest. Um, you said 4-0. I said 3-0. Pretty much. Obviously, you was closest, but you're still one goal off it.
Bro, I was so
Um,
mad. I was so mad when Odegaard scored, bro. Oh, man.
So obviously, we both got a point on that one, so nothing really changes. Um, United West Ham. I said 1-1. You said 2-0 United. Obviously, it was 1-0. So you clutched it again. You got a point there. So 2 points more. So you're 9 points ahead of me now. So I'm gonna need. Oh yeah, and then the Spurs game. I said Bournemouth 2-1. Bro, Bournemouth, man. I swear, bro, everything was going right, and then these man just fumbled it. Like, oh, I was vexed. You said 1-1, so we was both wrong on that one. Um, obviously, there was the last minute goal. But let's talk about Liverpool Leeds. Let's talk about Liverpool right now, man. Liverpool in a little situation. I can't lie. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yeah, they're still in the title race, and they lost, and then they beat City, and I'm like, yeah, they're still there, and then they lost again. I'm like, yo, I don't know. I don't know because like even in the Champions League, they won 2-0 against Napoli, who are probably playing the most entertaining football in Europe at the time, and Liverpool handed it. Although Napoli had that goal ruled out, they played some nice football. They didn't really threaten Liverpool's goal like that. And you're thinking this is probably the worst Liverpool side we've seen in the last 5, 6 years. So what is it?
I think it's a combination of things. First of all, I've always been of the belief that they're not back. I remember telling you after the City game that even in that game, they weren't convincing. And the thing about football is, although it is a results business, bad performances will catch up to you. We've seen it with Tottenham, and we've seen it with Liverpool. The game after City, I think it was West Ham they played, where they won 1-0. That game, they weren't convincing either. Allison saved the penalty in that game too. Um, I think the midfield is a problem. I think we've discussed that on here before.
Hmm.
Fabinho doesn't look the same. Klopp right now is trying to find the balance between playing players like Elliot, Carvalho, and Jones, and playing guys like Milner, Henderson, Thiago. He hasn't seemed to figure that out yet. Obviously, they're missing Diaz and Jota, who are two sort of valuable options for them up front.
Yeah.
So obviously, we can't take that away. Um, Nunes still, although he chips he's chipping in with goals here and there in key moments. At times, he's still sort of coming up short against Leeds. He had a few opportunities where, you sort of bet on him to sort of finish them, and he didn't.
Mm.
The defense as well is still not all the way there. Van Dijk he's being inconsistent now, and that's a word that we haven't really associated with him in the past sort of 3-4 years. Inconsistent. He's putting up good performances here and there, but also sort of mixing them in with bad performances. And even just as you mentioned, the Napoli game, even in that game, bro, I wasn't convinced by them either. Like, that game would have easily ended 0-0 if not for the set piece that Liverpool had where they bundled the ball over the goal. That game, Liverpool, as much as you said Napoli didn't threaten Liverpool's goal, Liverpool didn't do anything either. The game, it was pretty much a nothing game until the late set piece. So
Yeah, but they're massively out of form and they've won 2-0. In 3 months' time, that's what you're gonna see. You know what I mean?
I understand that, but even then,
This is a Napoli team that have been firing.
yeah, no, you're right. But to be fair, Napoli, they didn't have to win that game.
No, that's true. They didn't have to win the game.
The loss was inconsequential. It didn't have any effect. They pretty much still topped the group. So, how much can they take? But you know what I'd say? As a United fan who doesn't want to see Liverpool sort of succeed, I like it when they get these sort of Champions League victories because it sort of reduces the urgency for something to change. You see, whenever you get wins as a football team, it gives you a false sense of security. So I love it when they're losing these games like Leeds, but then they can come back and beat a Rangers and beat an Ajax and beat a Napoli because the fans will think, oh, you know what, maybe we've turned the corner, but really and truly, the
Yeah, really,
writing
truly,
is
they
still on
haven't.
the
But
wall.
in
Yeah.
terms of, I don't think we should diminish the fact that and they still beat Napoli. And I hear what you're saying about the game being subsequential. But if Liverpool had won that game 4-0 because of the way it goes in the reverse leg, Liverpool would have topped the group. So
But they were never going to win the game 4-0.
yeah, but people could have turned around and said they were never going to win 2-0.
Yeah, no, but you could heading into that game, it wouldn't be sort of ridiculous to have predicted that Liverpool win the game, considering it's at Anfield, it's
Yeah,
under the
no,
lights, blah blah
I
blah.
thought Liverpool were going to win the game, but I
You
didn't think
thought
they would
Liverpool
win
would
it.
win?
Yeah, I thought Liverpool would win the game. I backed myself. I even backed my accumulator and said Liverpool would win the game because I just thought Liverpool at home, they usually bounce back from losses quite well. It's very rare to see Liverpool lose 2-3 in a row. You know what I mean? They're definitely going to get a draw or a win in their next game when they lost. And we've seen it this season. They haven't lost 2 games in a row. Obviously because the Champions League has interfered with midweek games, it means they've never lost 2 games in a row. So they do have that bounce back ability. And obviously, there was a bit of a different squad that played against Napoli than what did against Leeds. But I don't know. I still think we're very early in the season. A lot of people being a bit reactionary, but I don't think we can write off Liverpool just yet. They're
Uh,
still going to easily get top 4.
what I would say is, I think when you get to 12, 13 games, you can't call that reactionary. I think that's a large enough sample size.
It is
They're not
reactionary.
they're not winning the league. I think
This time
I
last
think
season, it was Spurs were up doing bits.
and how far off were Man City?
I see we're lurking around. That's
Exactly.
City.
Huh?
I think City were lurking around, but like the first 10 games last season, we saw Spurs mount to the top.
Yeah, but you need to think about who you're competing with. It's Man City, so I think you've is dawned on you now that Liverpool are not winning the league because you were still sort of trying to tell me that they could still win it like a few weeks ago. I think you've
No. I said they're still in the title race. I didn't
yeah,
say
you said they're still in the title race. Yeah, that's done now, right?
is it though?
It is.
Is it?
They're out. Yeah.
Arsenal are first, and they're 15 points behind Arsenal.
If
With
Liverpool,
hold on,
if
hold on, hold on, hold on.
go on,
With
go on.
with over 20 games left, Arsenal are not winning 25 plus games from now.
But the problem is, I'm not vouching for Arsenal to sort of beat Liverpool to the title race. I'm looking at City. City are not going. let me put it like this.
But how
If,
does it make sense to look at City when Arsenal are first?
because I don't think you guys win league.
No, we're not going to win the league, but you can't compare to City. You compare it to the first.
Nah, I compare it to the team that I think will win the league.
No. You compare it to the team that's first. That's ridiculous.
That's how. No, but what would be the point of me comparing it to Arsenal if I think Arsenal will drop off eventually?
But at this moment of time, you have to, because we're first. You have to compare us. Every team in that league has to be compared to us.
How many points are you ahead of City?
2.
Therefore, so even the gap between you
Actually,
and City
4.
It's not 4.
Because they lost to
You
Liverpool.
guys dropped points to Southampton, so it can't be 4.
Yeah, but they dropped points at Liverpool.
Yeah, so that made it 4.
I don't know. I mean,
so yeah, it has to be 2. And if it's 2 points, that's not a large enough sort of gap.
Yeah, no, it's 2.
It's not a large enough sort of gap for you to say that I can't be comparing Liverpool to City. City are the title favourites, so therefore I am comparing I'm judging Liverpool's title chances in comparison to the title favourites and the defending champions, by the way.
So if City were 4th, you would still compare them to City?
No, I wouldn't compare them to City. But that's 4th.
Then what? Then
that's 4th though.
It don't make sense. Then you gotta compare it to Arsenal. Then I can't lie.
No, but I think you guys will eventually drop off and probably be in a top 4 race.
But regardless,
my point was Liverpool, in my opinion, are not winning this Premier League.
Okay, but they're not out of the title race.
They are, I think. They are.
They got too much quality.
I mean, you say that every week, and then we come back and talk about another poor result.
Yeah, but we're only 12 games in, bro.
What did I tell you when we were 5 games? And I said you're gonna say we're only 5. When we're 7, you're gonna say we're only 7. When we're 10, you're gonna say we're only 10. When we're 12,
we're in the first third of the league. Yeah. All it takes is Liverpool to go on a 15-game unbeaten streak, and then they're going to be hovering around the top 3, and people are saying, "Oh, they're back in the title race." And then people are changing their opinions. People will look how quick people have forgot United start because they're unbeaten in 9.
But what I would say to you is this: for Liverpool's, you said go on a 15-game unbeaten run. For that to have an impact, you need to rely on City to also drop. That's the problem.
City have been dropping.
To catch up.
City have been dropping.
How many games have they dropped points in, bro?
Compared to last season and the seasons before, City would be first by now, running away with it. But every team this season, except for Arsenal, has been dropping.
I think City have only dropped points in a max of 4 games. That's not bad, bro.
4 in 12. That's surprising for City standards.
And even then, only 1 loss. Like,
yeah, but you're saying it's surprising, but City usually finish the season with 1-2 losses, 1-2 draws, and already they got 2 draws and 2 losses.
Nah, they don't finish. They don't finish with 2 draws.
They finish the season with a couple losses and a couple draws usually. They're hitting the 30 wins.
Last season they had at least 4 or 5 draws.
But they've got 2 already.
Yeah, but I'm sure by this time last season they had 2.
No, but what I'm saying is they're dropping points, at a more regular rate than previously.
I mean, it's debatable, but I think Liverpool are out of it. I don't see it, bro. I just don't. I don't see that sort of, because remember you talk about 15-game run. That's a massive improvement from where they are now.
It's Liverpool, bro. We can't sleep on the players that they have. Man are moving like a new 11's coming onto the pitch.
Yeah, but you say we can't sleep on the players that they have, but what are the players doing now?
But all it takes is 2 moral changes, 2 new tactics.
And you would have thought that the Man City game would have brought about the moral change.
Who did they play after the City game? Leeds, didn't it?
West Ham.
But they beat West Ham.
And they scraped that, and then they lost to Forest.
Shouldn't have lost to Forest. That was embarrassing.
And they lost to Leeds.
The Leeds one was wild, especially because Van Dijk finally killed his undefeated home record, which I couldn't wait for it to finish because it was jarring. Like, I couldn't wait. So I was gassed about that. Shout out to my guy Somerville, lovely finish. But yeah, I don't know. obviously we'll see how it goes in it. But for me, Liverpool are still going to be a threat to the season, a threat to whoever's going to be winning the title, just because they have that mentality in them. They have that not just that feel for never being out of games. And yeah, people can easily say, oh, they're eighth, they're 15 points away. Man, also forget that I can't remember which year it was, but Liverpool were like 13, 14 points behind City, and they closed the gap to 2 points. I know it's not the same team, but I'm just saying people said it was impossible then, and look how strong the team was. I'm just saying things can change very quickly, and I can't lie, you'd be a fool to think Liverpool are not going to get top four.
No, I didn't say top four. I said title race. In regards to your point about last season, when they were 14 points behind City, I think they had 2 games in hand, first of all. And secondly, context matters. At that point, they were hungry. They were chasing history. They were on the verge of achieving something that's never been achieved in football, and that's winning all 4 trophies. Like no
Because they
no
could literally do that now.
no, but after coming so close last season and yet being so far, you don't think that's taken a toll on the players a bit?
Coming so close. Liverpool came close to the Champions League final, and the next year they're in the final again and won it.
Yeah, but that season that was the only thing that they came close to. I'm talking about coming
What
close
do you mean
to
they
every.
finished 1 point off the league?
No. So okay. So in 17-18, they finished fourth in the Premier League and they made it to the Champions League final. In
Lost to me.
18-19, they finished second in the Prem and they
1 point
won the
off.
Champions League.
1 point off Prem, won the Champions League.
Yeah,
That's their bounce back from being in the final and losing to Real Madrid.
but my point
Bearing in
was,
mind they lost because the goalkeeper was on sniff.
yeah, but my point was in 17-18, it was only the Champions League they were going for. It's not like
I get
last
that.
season
So
where they
if
were
you're
on
if
the
you're
verge
only
of winning
if you're
4.
only going for that thing, you get to the final and you die in the last second. Isn't that more demotivating than going for 4 trophies and winning 2 out of the 4?
No, not really, because that season they were not even sort of projected to even be in that position. They were overachieving by being in that position. Last season, even though they didn't have the best of starts, by the time like the season got to like February, and when they had added Ruben Diaz as well, their squad was so massive that people thought they may actually do it.
But when you say you mean Diaz, you mean over Diaz?
Do the quad. I mean, sorry, Luis Diaz, not Ruben.
Yeah. I know. Just for me, I just can't sleep on this Liverpool team. They're out of it 1 second and then bang, they're back in. Alisson scores a header, they're getting top four. I just can't. I can't, bro. I wish I could write them off. I prefer I don't want to see Liverpool having around, but I just can't deny the talent that they have from the coaching staff to their players. I just can't. So it's like, yeah, I hear that they've had a awful start because of what we expect from them, but don't be surprised match week 30 when they're 3-4 points off first.
Can't see it.
Of course, we can't see it now, but no one could see Liverpool starting like this.
Mm,
No one could see Liverpool starting
no,
like this.
I couldn't see them starting like this.
There's not one person in the world that said, you know what, by the 1st of November, Arsenal will be 15 points clear of Liverpool at the top of the table. No,
Yeah,
no one in the world said that.
yeah,
Not even
nah,
the
nah.
fortune teller said that. They looked at it and said, nah, my thing's off. Because there's just no way.
No, you're right. No, but what I would say to that is we couldn't see Liverpool starting like this because at the beginning of the season, a ball hasn't been kicked. But what I'm saying I can't see them challenging for the top 4 is because I've got a sample size now. I mean, sorry, I'm saying I can't see them challenging for the league. I've got 13 games behind me now, so I've got evidence.
But what's 13 games to 38?
Well, 13 games is a lot of games. It's
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 not even
not the
half.
it's not as much as half, but it's we're going to be closer to half sooner or later.
Okay, so if I'm making a human body, yeah, and I've made from feet to waist, yeah. So you can't even see the face, the abs, the torso, the muscles, all of that. I've just made from feet to waist, and already, which is half by the way, and already I got people saying, "Nah, this person's gonna look clapped."
But you know what I would
This
say?
person's butters.
But wait, hold on.
This person's gonna be overweight.
I won't be able to judge your looks, but I will have an idea of your height though.
Okay, and we have an idea of the height. In
So
Liverpool, we have an
and that's what
idea.
I'm saying.
In
Based
Liverpool,
on
we
the
have an
13
idea
games,
of their
Liverpool's
talent,
height for me
which
is
is their
challenging for
talent.
top four.
You have an idea of their talent. So how can then you then diminish it and then say they're not gonna be hovering around title challenge?
I have an idea of their talent.
You have an idea.
Yeah, and their talent hasn't shown forth so far this season.
Exactly. But you also have an idea of their talent and what it can produce. So don't
And
you think it's a bit too early to say they're out of the title race?
but also the talent has diminished. A couple of those players aren't the same, bro. Like Fabinho has had a major decline.
Who?
Fabinho
Fabinho.
in the DM.
Yeah, Fabinho looks like he's hit a bit of a rough patch.
And he's a key part of that team.
Well, people are saying Salah's declined, but my man's got 8 goals and 5 assists in 14 games. I'll take that. People saying Firmino's out of it. My man's bagging. Diaz got injured, and he looks more of a threat. Jota hasn't been hitting the same numbers that he usually does. And to be fair, that's all they really have going forward. Klopp's making a couple mistakes though, like starting Carvalho against Brighton. Brighton are a well organised side. Well, like he was a bit out of his depth, but I don't know. Some people saying it's 7 year syndrome. Other people saying it's just a poor start. We'll see. But we've delved into Liverpool enough. Don't want to forget the other important teams in the top six, of course. Um, we'll fly over Spurs. Obviously, last week, um, who did they play in the league again?
Bournemouth.
They Bournemouth. Oh yeah, the Bournemouth game. Obviously they left it late. Bentancur came clutch. What can I say? Like Brighton had 2 opportunities, bagged them. Spurs were resilient the last 20. I've noticed that they, even in the Marcel games, that first half, bro, awful for Spurs, man. They let Marcel dominate. The Marcel could have put it to bed, but for me, they just lack that firepower, and some of their players are on the decline, like Alexis. You can still see he's got like the touches and stuff, but he ain't got that raw pace and that flair anymore, that creativity to do damage. And we saw that. But Marcel could have put that game to bed. Kolasinac could have done it against his former ops. This guy, you can take Kolasinac out of Arsenal, can't take the Arsenal out of the U. So it was peak. But
No, but for you to say that, what are you calling him a bottle job then? Because if you're saying that you can't
it's,
take
it's,
Arsenal
it's
out,
being it's being fourth with 3 games left and then coming fifth, not a bottle job.
yeah.
Don't let this season fool you, bro. For me, I'm not on the gas. I'm not on the hype. Like if this was week 25 and we're top of the table by 2 points, then I'm gassed. But I'm not on the hype thing yet. I'm not, bro. Trust me. You see these streams we're doing, yeah. I've been chill, fam. I've been chill. If I was on a hype thing, actually thinking that we're winning the league, man could not come. Man couldn't talk to me. I would be comparing all my players with Benzema, Zidane, Iniesta. I'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, Partey is up there with Marcus Senna and all them, man. I'd be screaming that. But obviously, as I said, I'm just keeping it chill now, keeping it humble. But back to Spurs real quick. Yep. End of the day, like it's a weird one because for me, they're not playing attractive football. They don't look consistent, but they've topped their Champions League group, or even though it was in the European League group in the Champions League. Marcel, Frankfurt, and who else
Sporting,
was it? Hmm?
Sporting Lisbon.
Sporting. That is in the Europa League group, hiding in the Champions League. Frankfurt are only in there because they won the Europa, and it's like, why? Why is it down to the last game for anyone to get anyone to come first? Nah, I rate it though. Entertainment wise, but Spurs they did it in it. They packed it. They packed it. They got through. Hoiberg scored that. It was a good goal to be fair. The winner, and they're through. Like they've ticked the boxes. If you're what's his name, Daniel Levy, yeah. What are you saying to Conte right now? Like going into this World Cup, like what are you saying to him?
I mean, I guess I'd be asking if he can win a trophy, because I think that's the main aim. I think Tottenham at this point will take a trophy, but because Conte's football is so negative, it's so uninspiring. Whenever he loses, the Tottenham fans react. I think their reaction to the losses are worse than they would be if he was playing a bit more inspiring football. And
Yeah,
that's what uninspiring football does. It's like, okay, cool. When we win, it's fine. But when we lose, it's a problem. I remember when they were losing 2-0 to Newcastle at half time. The crowd was booing. Bearing in mind, this is a Tottenham team that's what, third in the league?
had their best start ever.
Their best start ever, and they were losing to Newcastle. That was the first game at home that they've lost. I think it was the first home game they've lost this season on the Conte. And they were booing at half time. It's because of the football. So what I would say is win me a trophy and everything's cool.
I hear that. For me, I'm asking him, why can we play football well in the last 20 minutes? We clearly have the ability to do that. Why do we not start games like that? Why are we starting games so pessimistic and cautious?
But even then, you say, why do we play in the last 20 minutes? Isn't that just sort of like the natural like adrenaline and urgency that a football player just gets when they know that something needs to happen? We need to do something. I don't even
Yeah,
think it's Conte's
but
tactics
we
at that point.
difference with Arsenal is we start games like that, but we finish like Spurs.
Mm.
So if you know you have the ability, because there'll be thousands of Spurs fans arguing with me saying that their squad's better than ours, which is BS, but they'll say it. So it kind of suggests that they can play that football.
I think that football is very high risk because let's be real. That football is called throwing the kitchen sink at it. That's essentially what it's called. And
We
Conte
can do
is
it in a
not.
controlled manner.
You can, but Conte is not a high. He doesn't. Conte is not an expansive manager. Like to be
Well, he's
to be
safe.
fair to be fair to Tottenham though, when like in a couple of in the first couple of minutes against Newcastle, when they won the ball back off Newcastle in like their own half and then sort of played in transition, they did move the ball quite well. And I think that's essentially what Conte's football is. Absorb the pressure, win the ball, move the ball well in transition, create goal scoring opportunities. But the problem is when those transition opportunities don't occur frequently, the football can look so bad. Like
Yeah,
it
no, I hear
can
that.
look
But do you think
terrible.
that's down to the players that he's got? Do you think if Conte has a couple windows and you start to see his squad, that we'll see a different style of football?
I don't know because even in the window that was passed, how many players like did he actually get like that he wanted? I mean, obviously Richarlison was undeniably his player, but who else? Okay, Perisic is undeniably his player,
I'm sure he went Basuma in it.
and Basuma. But even Basuma, like, bro, he doesn't seem to rate Basuma like that. Like,
I think he was just settling him in. I don't think he doesn't rate him. I just think Hoiberg and Bentancur are generally better options.
but that's the thing. Do you think, like, generally speaking, like people would consider like before Basuma came to Tottenham? Do you think people would have considered him better than a Hoiberg? I think so.
Who before Basuma
Before he
came to
came,
Tottenham?
yeah.
Yeah, because he was overachieving at Brighton.
Mm.
But Hoiberg's been more consistent for Tottenham, and I feel like the way Conte set up, um, Hoiberg and Bentancur, they're not like creative players. They're more defensive workhorses that can pick a good pass. Um,
I
the,
mean,
the
Bentancur tries sometimes. He tries to do those line breaking passes into Harry Kane sometimes.
Yeah, but for me, Harry Kane is probably the most creative player in the squad
Yeah, he is. He is.
because he can play anywhere. Like I've been playing FM, and you can put Harry Kane in centre mid, and he's still got 4.5 stars.
Ah,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So I'm just saying, if you want to bang with Richarlison up front and drop Harry Kane in that cam role, he'll probably do bits. I'll be real. But yeah, for me, Basuma transfer choice poor. I don't think going Spurs was the the right thing for his career. It was a good step in terms of joining a Big Six team now that play Champions League football. Of course, ticking the boxes there. But in terms of his development and him staying relevant, no, it wasn't the greatest decision. But end of the day, everyone has their own different aspirations and ambitions in the game. So he's doing his thing. I personally prefer to see Højbjerg and Bentancur, just like when they came to Emirates, their midfield was just non-existent. I feel Basuma would have been a bit more of an irritation in there, but it's what it is. Talked about Spurs as much as it pains me. Let's fly over the rails. Let's go over to another team in London. So we'll talk about Chelsea real quick. Um, Obviously they won their group and they beat Salzburg 2-1. Potter's done well, can't lie, in the Champions League. You know, he did a double over Milan, beat Salzburg. I know Dynamo were no threat, but he's done his thing. Be interesting to see how they get on in the knockout stages. Because they're still, you can still get out of Chelsea. We saw that at the United game. We saw that with Brighton, who beat them 4-1 on the weekend. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's a L. How can you go back to the team you just left and get absolutely tanked? Such a hiding. And the worst thing is, it wasn't even just one of them ones where they lost 4-1 and they're like, how did they lose 4-1? They genuinely just played so poor. So poor. And I know they got a lot of injuries at the moment. I know Kante's out, um, Fofana's out. I don't think Koulibaly's that is in at the moment. Reece James is out, and having to rely on Thiago Silva, who he got exposed on Saturday. He was looking, yeah, he was looking peak. He was looking old, man. He was making some rookie mistakes we don't normally see from Silva. He's obviously he got the goal line clearance as well, but it came from his own error.
From his own era, yeah.
Cucurella for me still hasn't hit off in that Chelsea shirt the same way he did at Brighton. Um, and Chilwell was just not consistent. So they have a real problem at the back. And it's funny because at the start of the season, I was saying Chelsea are spending so much P on their back line that I can't see them conceding any goals. They're just be getting violated. So it's a strange one. And I think Kepa got swapped for Mendy as well, other way around in the game.
Kepa got injured, yeah.
Kepa got injured, which is a shame because I can't lie, Kepa was doing better than Mendy recently. And he offers more distribution wise. So yeah, Sterling's there. For me, Sterling needs about 4 or 5 chances a game to score. That's you can get that at City. You're not getting that in this Chelsea side. They don't really have that creative player in that middle. You know what I mean? Like Liverpool, you got your Thiago. City, you got your De Bruyne. Even United, you got your Bruno. They don't have that central figure in centre mid who's just gonna, as you said, play balls in between the lines, switch the play, take on a player and open something up. Um, Jorginho, he's more that defensive playmaker who will play those sideways passes, keep things ticking in the midfield. Kovacic offers that sometimes, but again, he's not consistent with it, and
Yeah.
he hasn't really been a consistent runner in the squad either. Loftus-Cheek for me, I don't think he's good enough. Um, I'm still surprised how he's even in this Chelsea team. I'll be real. Sometimes he looks good driving forward on the ball, but he reminds me of Barkley a lot. Um, there's a bit of hype, but it's probably better off at Everton or something. And then Havertz, would you say Havertz is a cam? The funniest thing is I thought Havertz was a cam, especially when he played for I think it was Mönchengladbach or Leverkusen. Sorry, um, he was known for his playmaking. So I don't know what it is. Is he a striker? Is he a? I don't know. I don't know what Havertz is, to be honest. He has some good goals though, some important goals, but I don't know what he is. So for me, Chelsea, they're just not balanced. You know how you was talking about squad balance the other day, and
Yeah.
how Everton have that. Not comparing to Everton to Chelsea, of course, but I don't think Chelsea have that balance. What about you? What do you think? What do you think their main weakness is right now? Like, what's the issue? Because Potter's not a bad coach.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, I definitely agree. You can definitely get at Chelsea. Like they're not impenetrable. Like
Mm.
even you, I mean, you speak about Cucurella. The maddest thing with him is I totally liked him when he was at Brighton, and when City wanted to get him, I was like, that would be a good signing. But then when they wanted like 50 million, City were like, nah, and then Chelsea ended up paying 63 million, and then it's like the weird thing about it is that you've paid 63 million for a left back, but then you've got a 50 million pound left back also in the team as well. So now that like automatically you have 100+ million sort of left back combination. And obviously, like you said, Koulibaly's out, Fofana's out, Thiago Silva was making so many individual errors
Yeah, it
against
was
Brighton. I
crazy.
don't know what was going on with him. He was
He
just
didn't
giving
have
the
his wheel
ball
a bit.
away, missing the ball, just mistiming things. It was weird. Like I don't know what was going on with him.
No, he definitely went out on Friday night. 100% went out Friday night.
The funniest thing for me about that game was, as much as it was 4-1, Brighton still needed 2 own goals. Like that, it just shows you how like sort of impotent Brighton is. Like as well as they play, they still needed 2 own goals. Like just to sort of give them that safety net. But no, in regards to your question, Chelsea, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly Potter's doing, because I don't know the formation he played on Saturday, but on the stream that I was watching it on, they said like they had Pulisic and
Pulisic
Sterling
did not want to defend. Pulisic was just
as his
playing corner flag.
as his wing backs though. He had them as his wing backs, and I was so confused.
Pulisic was not getting back. It was just wing. There was no back. It's just
But
pure
but
wing.
but but why would you play Pulisic and Sterling as wing backs? Like
Why are you playing Pulisic end of?
he played no, but Pulisic is not a bad player. The problem with Pulisic is his injuries. His injury problems have always just taken him out of rhythm. But when he's had like a consistent run of games, he usually does play well. But the problem is, why are you playing him and Sterling as left and right wing backs? And then he played Gallagher and Mount as like his two sort of as part of his front three. Like it didn't make sense. And you were talking about creativity. Gallagher and Mount are far from creative. Like they're just not creative at all.
Gallagher missed a sip as well.
Yeah, and Havertz, yeah, I remember when they signed him. Don't forget, they signed Havertz for 75 million. People should not forget this. They signed Havertz for
Chelsea have
75
spent
million.
P. Chelsea
Huh?
spent P.
Nah, yeah,
They have no
100.
excuse. They've spent P. Whether it's their manager, because they spent P for Potter too. Don't get twisted. They spent P, bro, and it's
they, they,
wild.
they signed Havertz for 75 million. I remember people saying that he was like an Ozil sort of regen. And because honestly, I hadn't watched much of him before he came. And then when I watched him, I was like, okay, well, he looks tidy on the ball. He's got decent fundamentals, but he doesn't really do anything well. Like, he's not a great passer. He's not a great dribbler. He doesn't strike the ball particularly well. In front of goal, he's inconsistent. He's not a dead ball specialist. So, as an attacker, what his ball carrying is okay. So, what
I think
is
his
his?
I think his ball carrying is probably his best attribute. To be
It
fair,
probably is.
he's quite efficient. Like he doesn't get tackled easily, but like you said, his all round game. I think he's very just. He's not great at anything. He's a jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades. So what does that make him positionally? Is he a false nine? Is that the best sort of position for him?
I feel like I don't know. For me, he's just. He reminds me. Yeah, obviously he's German as well. He just reminds me of what Muller would look like if he played in the Prem.
But the thing with Muller is Muller in front of goal is deadly.
Yeah, yeah.
At least I can hang my hat on Muller being clinical in front of goal. I can't do that with Havertz.
No, I hear that. But I do see the similarities.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Chelsea, obviously the defense we've spoken about. Kepa's been on a good run of form. He got injured against
Yeah, that
Brighton,
was a shame.
so he might be out. The midfield, like you said, the midfield is seriously lacking, because even you brought up Kovacic. Kovacic's best attribute is ball carrying as well. When it comes to like sort of like making break line breaking passes or making passes to split defenses open. Kovacic isn't really that. Like as mad as it sounds to say, he doesn't really do that well. So yeah, and to be fair, the attack as well. Aubameyang, yeah, like
I can't
yeah,
wait to play against Aubameyang on Sunday. But if he bags, bro,
he probably will bag. But I told
I
my
can't see him bagging against Saliba and Gabriel. I'll be real. I'll be
nah,
real.
he probably will bag. But the problem is, I
Nah,
told my
nah, nah.
brother who's also an Arsenal fan, it's not about Aubameyang bagging. It's about whether you lot win. Because if he bags and they lose, who cares?
We'll talk about Arsenal in a sec, but trust me, I'm super confident going into Sunday's game. I can't lie. Um, and another reason why I'm so confident is because we haven't really picked up any injuries like that. Except for Zinchenko, but even he's back in training. Elneny's back in training, played on Thursday. But yeah, with Chelsea, we'll finish off because time has gone rapid. For me, they've spent P in every department, so you can't turn around and tell me they need signings, they need strengthening. I think it's the players that they're signing. They're not signing the type of players that are gonna be a good price and elevate their game to the next level. They're buying players more for the name. I feel like they bought Sterling back off because he's got Premier League experience and his name. I don't think Sterling really fit the system of how Chelsea play football at all. Because they were trying to use him as a nine at first. Again, Koulibaly, yeah, 30, yeah, done bits in Serie A, but again, I think it was just a name. I'm not really seeing mad levels when he was playing. Like I'm not turning around and being like, damn, I wish that was us. And to be fair, Chelsea this season, I don't think there's one player where I'm like, damn, I wish he was doing that for us. And normally I'm saying that. Normally I'm saying, yo, Hazard is doing bits. Normally I'm saying Kante is looking nice. Normally obviously probably except for Reece James. Reece James is the only one, as young as he is, that is probably inspiring that Chelsea team. Because look how different they look without him. And it's mad to think that your right fullback is your main attacking threat. Like I know with Liverpool, Trent is their sometimes their main attacking threat, but then you can still get goals and assists from Diaz and Salah and Thiago and whatnot. But in this Chelsea team, when Reece James is out, you do have to say where do we look the most dangerous because I don't know. But that's enough on Chelsea. Chelsea fans, let me know what you think. But for me, you lot are in a little sticky situation. That I don't think getting a few results covers the crack. That's a plaster on a wound thing, and I feel like the injury needs addressing better than that. Going on to City, we'll swim quickly over City. We know they're a plastic team anyway. So obviously did they win their Champions League group game against Copenhagen?
They did. They did. I think three
They did
one.
3-1. Yeah, so they won. They came first, as everyone expected them to do. They're still going to be top two, top three favorites to win the Champions League group. Especially if Haaland stays fit, De Bruyne stays fit, Cancelo stays fit. Then they can really mount a challenge this year. I know we say it every year, and some shock result happens and they're out. Well, I feel like with Haaland, it's a bit of a game changer, especially in terms of just goals win you games, and this guy is going to get you goals in almost every game he plays. So yeah, City, and obviously on the weekend they win again. Um, who did they play? They played Leicester. De Bruyne, super free kick. I really wanted them to drop points. Would have got a 4 point lead back. But credit to Leicester because although they lost, they have slightly turned their season back around. Because if this was 3-4 weeks ago, City would have won that game 5-6-0. So Leicester are definitely not. I'm not saying they look promising, but it's looking better than what we've seen and what we expect from Leicester as well. Because they're not a side that should be sitting 18th in the league by anyways the squad talent that they have and the depth. So yeah, City keep firing as per. United them, and then we'll finish on the best team in England. They've seen a couple of fireworks out here. Obviously, it's called bonfire night and that.
Yeah,
So
fair.
everyone enjoy your time out. Be safe. Don't get too close to the firework. Get me? But yeah, United, you guys won your Europa League game and you won your game against West Ham. Good header from Rashford. 3 points. End of the day, what was you happy with the West Ham performance? Got the win, clean sheet.
Um, I was happy in spells. I think the first sort of 10, 20 minutes, I think we generally played the better football. But then, I'm going to be honest, after sort of 20 minutes or so, they grew into the game. Like,
Mm.
Benrahma was having moments. He looked very sharp. I think he did a 360 on Casemiro at one point as well. They looked threatening. Halftime came, but then we scored. We scored at a good time to sort of kill their bit of momentum. And then in the second half, it was pretty balanced. But then towards the end, they sort of mounted a bit of an attack on us. The Ham pulled off some great saves, but we kept the clean sheet. Like I told you, our defense is quite good.
Yeah, the hair was clutch still. Seen them saves.
Yeah, they made some good saves. But yeah, I was itching for the second goal. We should have got it. McTominay should have got it towards the end. Obviously we didn't get it, but it's a 1-0 win. Onwards we go.
Onwards and upwards, get me. That's before beating Sociedad. You guys, because of that win over West Ham, 8 games unbeaten from the City game. It's mad to think we played so many games in October. I want to talk to you about that in a sec in regards to injuries and World Cup coming up because I feel like the schedule has been absolutely rammed and the footballing bodies are treating these players like robots. Let's be real, just for P, and it's disgusting. But yeah, you guys got the 3 points again to keep lingering around. Obviously, going into this season, I'm guessing top four was you guys target. If in January, February times, you guys are hanging around third, fourth. Would you change your expectation and try and reach the title like United should, or are you just completely basing it on a top four season?
To be fair, coming into the season, top four actually wasn't my expectation. It was more so a hope. I think if coming into the season, I thought if we finish fifth and maybe won a trophy, I'd be satisfied with that. Um, but if we are lingering around third and fourth by February, then of course your expectations change with a change in results or a change in evidence. Once new evidence presents itself, you make new judgments. So of course, if we're third or fourth by February, then I would expect us to finish there. Um, However, going into next season, I wouldn't expect us to challenge. Nah, it's still, Ten Hag still needs sort of time to bring in more of his own players. There's still a couple of players that I can see that he probably still would like to replace. And also as well, when people say a manager needs to bring in his own players, that doesn't only just concern the starting 11. It means the squad as well. So there's
Yeah.
still loads of players in the squad overall that Ten Hag would probably want to get rid of and sort of replace with players of his own liking. So yeah, next season aim will be top four, and then maybe after that we can see the
Yeah, no,
state.
talking about squad, let's jump 3 years. So it's 2025. Out of the squad that played against Sociedad on Thursday, how many, if you to give a rough estimate, how many players do you think survived that?
Okay, so 2025, Ronaldo won't be here. Um, De Gea, if he continues playing the way he's playing now, he will be. Dallo, if he continues, he will be. Martinez will be. Shaw, if Shaw can maintain the consistency, he probably will be as well.
You reckon?
Yeah,
What,
Maguire, I
sure will
don't
be
know.
what, 32,
No, he'll be 30. Shaw's 27.
27?
Yeah,
Or he's 29?
he'll be 30. Maguire won't be here. Maguire is his fourth choice centre back. Maguire won't be here 2025. Casemiro, depending on his conditioning,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that probably
The
still
Premier
2
League will
years.
ruin him, bro. Casemiro's got
Ericsson,
2 years in him max.
I mean, you never know that. Fernandinho played until he was 35. We'll see. We'll see what Casemiro can do.
That's true.
Ericsson, um, Eriksen's an interesting one, because he's not really been that good since he came back from the little injury that he picked up. He's looked off the pace a bit. Ooh, and I think we gave him what, a 2.5-year contract or something, or 3-year contract. Eriksen, you know what? I'd say Eriksen may not be here in 3 years.
I can't see Eriksen being in there.
Yeah, Bruno as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Bruno's not here, because as much as you call Bruno like the creative player and stuff, his game is very erratic. It's very immature. He makes a lot of sort of senseless decisions on the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if in due time Ten Hag sort of gets tired of that and chooses to bring in someone a bit more intelligent, a bit more sort of precise with their decision making, more consistently. Rashford, when it comes to academy products, is very difficult for you to predict that they won't be here, because there is an academy product tax on players. Players in this, clubs in this day and age, they sort of hold having an academy product in the first 11 as like a major badge of honor. So and they've invested stocks into these players, so it will be very difficult for you to sort of get rid of them. I can't even if Rashford isn't as good, even if Rashford has another season like he had last season, I still can't see him not being here. So I've pretty much mentioned the whole starting 11, and also obviously the Garnacho that scored, the Garnacho guy that
I like
scored
Garnacho.
yesterday. He looks decent. He's very raw. Do I see Star Boy? What people just call Star Boy. What I know to be a Star Boy, do I see that in him? No. But he could be a good squad player for United. I wouldn't mind seeing him coming off the bench.
I think Garnacho is better than Elanga.
Yeah, but Elanga is not the standard though. But obviously, I'm giving Garnacho time. He's still a young guy. Give him time to see how.
Yeah, was he 17?
I think he's 19.
Okay.
Or 18. But
I'll be real. Ten Hag, he gives me strict vibes. I don't see. I think over 70% of that squad's gone in 3 years if Ten Hag's still there. Don't see Varane there. Don't see Maguire there. Don't see De Gea. Don't see Shaw. Already with Malaysia, that proves that signing there shows me that he doesn't trust Shaw anyway. Don't see
but see, that's the
Wan-Bissaka.
thing. He was playing Malacia. So okay, he first of all started by playing Shaw.
Yeah, but Malacia's 19.
Then we're losing.
I know, but Malacia's 19.
Malacia's 22.
What? He's 22.
22, yeah. So we're playing. He was playing Shaw at the beginning. We were losing. Then he put Malacia in. We started winning. Then Malacia started putting up poor performances, and now Shaw's come in, and he hasn't looked back on Shaw since.
He's 23.
I'm pretty sure Shaw's played in he started the last sort of 5 or 6 games.
Enough. I don't know. I just feel like, for me, if you could argue and say that Malacia was probably supposed to be backup, but he started then playing him over Shaw. So in his idea, in his head, Shaw's not good enough. In the back of his mind, he thinks that Shaw's not good enough. I can't lie. Because why would you sign a backup and then play the backup over your main left back?
The thing with Shaw historically has proven that whenever he's given competition at left back, he steps his game up. Whenever he gets comfortable, like he did last season, his game deteriorates massively. So, I
That's
remember
not good enough. Shouldn't playing for United.
I know.
Game every week.
It's not ideal, but I remember even when on the Oli, when he was putting in some real lackluster performances, and then all of a sudden, Oli brought through Brandon Williams from the academy, and Brandon Williams was actually a right back who got moved to left back. And after Brandon Williams came in, then Shaw then started to elevate his performances again. So that's pretty much Shaw's problem. It's a bit of a mentality thing.
I hear that. Well, midfield wise, 3 years time. I'll be real, bro. There's not really anyone in that midfield that I can see guarantees to be in that starting 11 in 3 years' time if Ten Hag's still in. I can't see it. I hear what you're saying about Kaz if he's still fit. But 3 years, can't see it. Bruno, maybe Bruno, because I know you said about his game, but he does work hard and he does lead the team.
But what does
And
lead? What do you mean by lead the team? What does that mean?
he's always trying to make things go forward.
I mean, I give him that he has intent, but to be fair, Bruno's leadership. I mean, like I don't know because people define leadership in different ways. Like some people think the person that shouts the most is a leader. Some
He's a
people
lead.
think
Yeah, no, I hear
some
that.
people think the person that talks the most is the leader. Some people think the person that complains to the ref the most is the leader. I don't know because Bruno whines and moans a lot. I don't know. I don't know.
I hear that. But obviously, times alluded this. But yeah, end of the day, with United, I know the primary objective was to get 2 goals in that Sociedad match to top the group. Are you nervous about having to face a team in round 32 that's coming out of the Champions League, albeit as well that you're gonna have no Martinez because of his suspension?
Nah. To be fair, in the cup, you just have to take what you're given, and that's the aim of the game in regards to a cup. So you can't
So
complain.
you're confident. You're
Just
confident going in it. So you get joined now with who could you get joined with? Bare potentials. You get
give
Barca, yeah. I know it's not the
Barca.
same Barca we're used to seeing, but you don't play against Bayern Munich every day.
To be fair, if we get Barca, we could get knocked out, but I'd believe we can upset them though.
I think Barca's the only team that you'd think, oh, this could be a bit sticky because Ajax are not
We'll be
the
Ajax.
firepower that's gonna make you fearful. Juventus are not the same old lady, iron
We'll
lady that
beat
they used to be.
Juventus. We'll beat Juventus.
Yeah, Juventus are poor now. So for me, yeah, if I'm a United fan, I'm only looking at Barca as the team that could cause difficulties. But then again, you say that, but then you get in the Europa League, bro. You'll be surprised, man. You get those teams that you don't expect it. Just put up good performances.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, sometimes it's even better to play a Barca, play a Juve, because then the players are more up for it. They know the task. They know it's gonna be a challenge. They're not gonna be complacent. When you start playing against teams like Trabzonspor and Monaco, um, you don't deep it. You think, oh, this is a routine, and then you make mistakes.
Mm.
So yeah, interesting one. Obviously, we're about to talk about Arsenal real quick. We did top the group, so we don't have to worry about that. And for me, because of how tight the scheduling has been, I'm actually happy that we get to avoid 2 extra games anyway. Um, and that we can just go straight into round 16. Because for me, I'll be real, bro. I don't even care about Europa League. You win it and you get pointed Champions League, which is exactly what we're doing in the league anyway. So for me, yeah, it'd be nice to win a trophy. We haven't won a European trophy, blah blah blah. But in terms of long term going forward, I don't want the Europa League right now to cover up, all the mess. I don't want that. I rather this is gonna sound absolutely ridiculous, but I rather crash out of the Europa League in round of 16 and come sixth in the league than win Europa League and come fourth, fifth in the Premier League. Why am I saying that? Because people need to understand, especially Arsenal fans. We are getting a bit carried away. We don't have the squad depth yet, and I don't want the board to feel like, oh, because we've won the Europa League now, we can relax in and investing in the team for another 4 or 5 years. But that's what they will do. We know what the Cronkies are on. They will be like, well, you've just won that. You've just won the Europa League now, so yeah, you're not seeing peas from us until you manage back finishing eighth again. I'm not trying to hear all that. Still, I need the board to be aware that we're not there yet and that we're still miles off, despite having a good start. We are still miles off. So it's gonna sound mad, I know, but generally that's what I'd prefer. I'd prefer having a poor season, not winning the trophy, than winning the Europa League. If you win the Prem, it's different because you can win the Prem and then you can ease off. Because realistically, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I win the Prem. I'm not too concerned about winning it back to back or winning it even for the next 3 years. I'd be real. I know people saying, "Oh, what you lack ambition," but fam, I've just come from 22 years of not winning it. So you think I'm gonna be annoyed that I haven't won it in the last three? Nah, bro. Nah,
Mm.
bro. Like people forget. People forget the privilege of football because nowadays you can just buy the league. So yeah, that's how I feel. But finishing off on Arsenal real quick, we didn't play well in the second half against Zurich, especially for those last 20 minutes. They came at us, but Tierney, great goal. We made 7 changes. We got the win. We slapped Forest 5-0. Saka came off. I was questioning the bench. That's the first time that a player for Arsenal has scored coming off the bench in 31 games, bro.
Wow.
It just shows you our squad depth is so poor.
Mm.
31 games, bro. Bearing in mind, most of the substitutions is flipping and Ketia coming on, and he's a striker. And
Mm.
we've had to wait 31 substitution appearances for someone to bag. And it was Nelson, and he changed the game for us, to be fair. Although it was winning 1-0, he came on and he made things look a bit live and not right. We didn't really miss Saka too much. Am I saying Nelson starts against Chelsea? No. But it's nice to have a refresh, knowing that when we play against oppositions like Forest, we can bring on a Nelson who's going to do his job. So, top of the league still, 2 points clear. City are putting the pressure on us. We're putting the pressure on City. If anybody in my life told me at the start of the season that this would be the case, I would have bit off their hand and more because I'm thinking there's no way. So I'm happy. I don't care if we play the world's worst football. If the results keep coming our way, I don't care what team Arteta plays. I don't care what he says to the man them. If he has to kidnap ops families, I don't care, bro. As long as we carry on winning these results, winning in this manner that we are, because it's consistent winning and it's convincing winning. I actually don't care. I don't care at all. So
You
yeah,
we spoke about. I remember I said when I predicted you guys to win 4-0, I said it could be a good game for Jesus to get a couple goals. Obviously, he didn't. And the thing is, I was watching that game and I knew Arteta wasn't going to take him off because Arteta has probably been hearing, the noise about him not scoring, and he
yeah,
probably wanted. And to be fair, he should have scored.
should have scored a couple.
He should have scored a couple. Yeah, I
But
agree.
Jesus can never score again. For me, I'm still starting the guy. Man got 3 assists. He
Was it 3 or 2?
got 3 assists, bro.
It was
That's what
2,
I'm saying. He set up Nelson for the first one,
and he set up
set up
Odegaard.
Nelson again, and then he set up thingy. What's his name? Erdegaard. He passed the ball to Erdegaard when Erdegaard took on all those players and slapped it in.
I don't think he set up Nelson for the second one though.
He did. He crossed it in. It was a low cross. It was a brilliant touch from him. The ball came in long. It was a brilliant. He was in the penalty box. He touched it down brilliantly. Um, Someone else received the ball. It came back to him. He whipped it in. Nelson's just tapped it in. Trust me, bro. I
Mm.
watched the highlights. I watched the highlights like 3, 4 times that day. I was gassed.
Nah,
Um,
it's interesting because I remember there was a period, and I'm not to sort of bring his name back up again, but I remember there was a period last season. I think it was after you guys beat Watford 3-2,
oh, when Laka
where
got this.
Lacazette in 10 games, Lacazette had scored 1 goal, and I think he got 8 assists in 10 Premier League games.
Yeah, see, the thing about Laka is he offers great hold up play, but even with his work rate, he lacks the pace, the flair, the skill
That was the problem. Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
Jesus does. And Jesus is doing it on a more consistent level in terms of linking up and assisting, as well as Jesus creates these chances for himself. Most of the chances that we're talking about, he should have scored. Jesus is creating these chances out of absolutely nothing. Where Laka's that was completely different. The only chances Laka was getting in was when Turney was blasting in the box and Laka was there missing the tap in. Laka wasn't making any chances for himself. That's the difference. And Jesus' changes massively because it's pretty much the same squad except for Jesus and Saliba. And look at the difference.
Nah, dude, the only reason why I bring up Laka is because I remember even when Laka was like assisting Saka and Martinelli at different points last season, people were still sort of criticizing the fact that he wasn't scoring. And so with Jesus, it will be very interesting to see it if
Oh,
this
I hear
drought
that.
if this drought goes on, because I mean we've spoken about like his finishing and stuff.
I
If
mean,
the
even if
stats
the drought goes on, he's already scored more goals than Lacazette did last season in the Prem anyway.
no, but it's not about it's less so about comparing to Laka and more so about how the fans perceive him in like in a goal drought.
If he was like running up poor games and not linking up and assisting, man, then yeah, the concern will come in. But as I said to you, if the way he plays against Forest, if he does that every game every of the season and doesn't score, I'm not bothered, bro.
You know, I don't even think it's about. I don't think it's about his play. I think it's about Arsenal's results. If Arsenal keep winning, regardless of if he's scoring or not, you won't
I
highlight
know,
him.
but he's
The mo-
contributing massively to us winning in
yeah,
every
yeah,
game.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. But I say the moment, even if he still plays the way he's playing now, and you guys all of a sudden start to drop points, that's when I think people will start. That's when the fan base will probably start to sort of
I
question him.
don't know because the thing is, the opportunities he's given to Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard are so beautiful that if he was to start dropping off and he wasn't doing those things and wasn't scoring, then it would have to take a lot, like a big drop off. And I just don't think he has that in his game because, as you said, class is permanent, form is temporary. I don't think Jesus could drop off that drastically to the point where he's not affecting games in that manner. And that's why, even for me, even though even the Nunes comparisons, I don't think there's genuinely one Liverpool fan that would actually prefer Nunes over Jesus.
I think that's a bit tricky because obviously
Nah.
systems matter. Um,
Jesus is basically like Firmino, though.
I
Just
get what
faster.
you're saying. I get what you're saying. Just I'll probably say just
Jesus
maybe
is closer to Firmino than Nunes is. So you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
you can't tell me there's one Liverpool fan that would say they prefer Nunes. You're lying. I don't care what you tell me. You're lying.
The thing is, Liverpool would say they need a bags man, and I don't think that's what Jesus
But that's what
is.
Salah's there for. Salah's your bags man. You don't need two players getting 30 goals a season.
But then they've let go of Mane, so they need,
But
they need the goals to come from some.
Mane wasn't getting 30 goals a season. Though.
Mane wasn't getting 30 goals, but he was getting 20.
I hear that. But obviously,
But no, trust me, I prefer Jesus over Nunes. Like I trust me, but I'm thinking about just the Klopp way, like, and I get what you said about him, like Firmino. Even though I don't know, I don't, I get it.
you know, I've noticed as well. Klopp likes his South American forward still, except for Salah.
Yeah, he does because they've got a bit about them. That's why.
Yeah, no, he likes that. He likes that. But yeah, guys, we're gonna quickly do the predictions for this weekend. There's only 2 games left in the Prem until the World Cup. Only 3 games left. For most with the top 6 clubs. I think all of them because of the League Cup matches. I know Arsenal got Brighton. I think United got Villa. So obviously we're gonna see how those games pan out. But just before we talk about the predictions, though, I just wanted to say something to you and to everyone out there. We need to act up. We need to do something against the way that the football governing body is running these campaigns because look how players are just dropping like flies at the moment, man. And we've played 9 games in 1 month. Bearing in mind, we're used to seeing 4 or 5 games in a month. 9 games just in the Prem alone um, is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then with
Right.
the Europa League, obviously because most teams got Europa League and Champions League, playing 9, 10 games a month. I know people can scream squad rotation, squad depth, but you're only allowed to sign 25 players in the league, and majority of the time you're only using 15 to 16. Some teams not even more than 14 because there's not that trust from the manager. It's just I just
Yeah,
think it's I
and
just think
and,
it's too
and
much.
also coupled with as well the sort of new like high intensity, high pressing way of playing that teams
Exactly,
are adopting now. Players' legs are just going like
exactly. 'Cause we know the Premier League is the most high intensity league in the world. So imagine having to play and then you gotta play Thursdays and then Sundays and then Thursdays and then Sundays for 4 weeks. Wild, man. So yeah, I feel like the need for players to play, turn them into robots, just to make more guap from people watching on TV. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. And then people complain, why is this player on 300k, 200k a week? Well, that's because they're getting killed. They're sacrificing their bodies for your entertainment. That's why they're on high P. It's not just them kicking the ball around for 90 minutes. Their life is much more than that, man. It's a whole sacrifice. They can't eat. They can't be going out. They can't say certain things. They can't wear certain things. You get me? They can't just roll up to the motive with a zubby. They can't be doing these things. You get me? Their lives under strict control. And you'll be surprised to hear this, but you'll be surprised by the amount of footballers that play for the P and they don't care about football like that, or they're not passionate about that. They'll turn around to you and say it's their job. They'll be like, yeah, I'm good at it, but like I'm not passionate about it. Prime one is Bellerin, man. Bellerin said from day Arsenal to him is just a job. Like he prefers fashion. So man have to take into consideration that these guys are not robots, man, and we can't get too harsh on them when they have a tired game, have a bad game after playing 8, 9 games in a month. So just feel like as fans we need to relax a bit, and just remember that these guys are humans. They have feelings, and they go through everything that we go through. Just albeit different scenarios, maybe different financially, but same everyday struggles, same life challenging things, and especially when players are getting like crucified on social media, that effect it can have on them. They're not end of the day, then these men are not they're not superhumans, man. They have feelings, get me? So when we're going out saying these things, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I feel like social media, we need to relax a bit on players. Yeah, we just need to chill a bit. Okay, everyone makes mistakes, everyone's human. But yeah, let's go into the predictions for this tomorrow. Um I think there's one big game on tomorrow for me.
There's two big games this weekend.
Actually, no, on the Sunday. Sorry, obviously Chelsea, Arsenal,
Yeah,
and
Chelsea,
Spurs,
Arsenal.
Liverpool.
Chelsea, Arsenal.
But we're gonna start. We'll start with City, Fulham.
3-0
Fulham in
City.
good form right now. City are at home. What's your predictions on that?
I said 3-0, but you know what? 3-1 City. 3-1 City.
3-1 City, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying 2-0 City. I know Fulham have been scoring, but I can't see them scoring against City. I just feel like, especially at the Etihad, I feel like that's too much of a big ask. And then we got the rest of them were just playing on the Sunday, innit? Yep. Chelsea, Arsenal. That's like the bridge.
I'm gonna
What are you
say
saying about that?
I'm gonna say 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah.
Okay, that's understandable. You're a waste man. I'm joking. I'm saying 3-1 Arsenal still. 3-1 Arsenal. I'm going confidence mode. Yeah, I'm going in confidence mode. Um, then we got Villa United, who then play against each other again on Thursday.
We're beating
That'll be
Villa.
interesting.
We're beating Villa.
This is at Villa's ground.
I told you about Villa. They went and got packed 4-0 by Newcastle. I told you that team, bro. I told you we're beating Villa 2-0. We're beating Villa.
Listen, Emmy knows how to get over United with a team that's got Villa in their name. So
there ain't no penalties, bro. There ain't no penalties this time around.
you're saying 2-0 United, yeah?
2-0
Villa
United.
at home. I'm saying 2-1 Villa. I think Emmy's gonna do bits and start building up his name and his rep. And Villa got the players to do that if they can get onto his wavelength. Albeit I know it's only been a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm saying 2-1 Villa because I'm a madman. And I need the points. I can't be predicting the same results as you, I'm not gonna get nowhere. I need the points. I'm 9 points behind people. It's not good enough. And then lastly, we got Tottenham and Liverpool, another top six.
Ooh.
Good weekend for top six, though.
This is the toughest one to predict.
Yeah, this is at the Lane as well, or Spurs' ground, whatever you want to call it.
Tottenham gave Liverpool loads of problems last season. They should have probably won both games last season against Liverpool. But They are not. Wait, is Son injured? He is, I think.
If it's a clean break, should be all right. If it's broken and fractures, if it's not a clean break, then he's not going to be there still.
This game is reliant on. Is Richarlison back?
I don't believe Richarlison's back.
Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna say. Last season it was 2-2. I want to predict a Tottenham win so badly because Tottenham give Liverpool a lot of problems, but I'm gonna say 2-2 again.
2-2, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying Liverpool win this 3-0. You know,
Oof.
I think Liverpool are gonna have a comfortable one because I think Klopp's gonna notice that Spurs have been playing this negative football, and I think he's gonna tell them to go at it.
But
And
Liverpool,
with
Liverpool
Romero
don't,
injured,
Liverpool don't,
for Spurs, I don't trust Dyer to hold
Liverpool
that back
don't
line.
do a great job against low blocks though, and Tottenham will sit.
I know, but I can't see Dyer and Longley concentrating well for 9 minutes, especially if Emerson's playing. If Emerson's playing, it's already 6-0 to be honest.
Man said Emerson counts as -3.
Bro, I'm not even capping. If Emerson playing, yeah, Liverpool might as well just focus attack down the left. Like yo, they might as well kick everything down the left. I don't know. He's not ready for this level. I'll be real. But yeah, that's the predictions for this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll be back again on Monday around 9. Notifications will be sent out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, people. Please like the videos so that we can get out more, start popping off more, getting more people to engage, get the 620 podcast up and running. You get me? Um, Different things to come in the future. Other people coming on to speaking. We'll have different events, different games on, different topics. So yeah, especially throughout the World Cup as well. We will have you guys. We will have you provided with much entertainment throughout the World Cup. There won't be a focus on one team in the World Cup. Obviously, we'll talk about England because that's where we are. But we won't just be fully focused on England. We'll try and focus on as many teams in the World Cup and as many teams that have players from the top 6 in the World Cup too. So yeah, thank you for tuning in today, guys. Have a good weekend. Bonfire night and that. Don't get caught on fire.